Hi, I'm back at the bench today. I'm going to load up two different shells. One is going to be a 3-inch Chedite new hull loaded with 34 grains of Alliant Steel using a TPS wad with 1.25 ounces of number 5 shot. The other one's going to be also loaded in a 3-inch Chedite hull with 37 grains of Alliant Steel using a Ranger Elite wad with 1.125 ounces of number 5 steel shot. So the first one I'm going to do is going to be the TPS wad. So this load here calls for 34 grains of Alliant Steel. So 34 grains of Alliant Steel, 3-inch new Chedite hull. What I'm going to do here is I'll show a close-up of it also. With the TPS wads, I've noticed that there's some creep, so I've tried some different things. I've used some overshot cards, I've used some napkins, and just not really finding anything I really like. So I've seen a bunch of different guys use a pair of pliers to bend out the edges of the wads, but I couldn't get a very uniform on that, and when I push down on the table like that, I get a nice even flare on it. And then when I go to put it down into the hull, if it's nice and tight, it's going to prevent any of that creep. I've noticed there it's actually enough where it's almost too tight, and it's not going to drive all the way down in there. I have to squeeze in just a touch. So what I'm going to do is a close-up of the bottom of the wad so that you can actually see what it looks like. And then I just take and push down really hard, and it ends up flaring that out. So then when I put that down into the hull, it gets a very tight seal around the wad when I put it in. So that's when I've flared it out at the bottom, and this one here is not being flared out and almost drops right down in. So there's actually a big difference between the two, and then that'll prevent the powder creep without having to use any type of other spacers. So this one's going to be 1.25 ounces of steel BBs. I'm sorry, it's going to be 1.25 ounces of number 5 steel, which is 546 grains. We'll put that in here. One other issue that I've had with getting this load to fit in here, because there's quite a bit of powder and shot, I've actually got some different overshot cards. So what this overshot card is poster board, so it's nice and thin. And what it does is just gives a nice even crimp at the top, and I'm not sure what the thickness of it is, but it's very thin. It's thinner than the other overshot cards that I've had, and I'll just show a real quick video of that. Also, if you have a cricket, I was able to get my wife to put the poster board on the cricket and cut out these perfectly sized circles, and they're 3/4 inch, and they fit right into the 12 gauge hull. put a crimp on it. I got an 8-point crimp that I'm using. And it's close on room, so you got to be kind of slow at packing it down in there. Give the steel powder an opportunity to squish together and get a real nice crimp out of that. So that was the TPS. This other one is going to be the Ranger Elite. And on the TPS, when I tested at the range, I was getting 1483 feet per second, 1,483 feet per second. So reasonable speed, and actually had a really nice pattern. And then also I just take and put it on my taper to get a nice taper on it. For the first one, the TPS wad that I used, the load data from Ballistic Products, Status of Steel, it was listing 37.5 grains of Alliant Steel, and I backed it down to 34, and that's where I found my best pattern. The Ranger Elite, I'm using 37 grains of powder, and the reload data that I have for it is out of Ballistic Products, Status of Steel, and it actually calls for 38 grains. I backed it down to 37. Again, this is going into a brand new Chite hull. And this one here, I've noticed that the seal is a little bit better with this style of a wad. And this one here is going to be 1 ounce and 1/8, so 492 grains of number 5, and that's right at 490. We'll take 1 BB out. 492. That'd be 1 ounce and 1/8. Again, I'm going to put the overshot card on it. And since these are brand new, I'm going to do the final crimp multiple times just to make sure it stays nice and folded. We'll put it in the taper to give it a nice taper. And we had a really nice crimp on that. This one here is, again, 1 ounce and 1/8, running at 1,665 feet per second, 1665. This also had a really nice pattern.